Coi Leray. She is one of the most newer artists that has thrived from TikTok and have benefited from the TikTok platform. But we're also going to dive into how that success on TikTok doesn't really translate to sales and album streams and album sales to Coi Leray's career. We're going to talk about the failure of her past two albums, but more specifically, her most recent album. Now, when I think about Coi Leray, I don't really think about Coi Leray as an artist that is going to be a potential legend. I don't think she's going to be an artist that is going to be a potential icon. I think Coi Leray just makes music that she just puts out as much as she can and sees whatever sticks. For example, when she does her TikTok bops, when she makes a song, it gets put on TikTok and then the fans eat it up. And if they don't, they just don't. But every single song that she has got to be popular has gotten processed through the TikTok app. And that's not bad, okay? But Coi Leray hasn't really translated that TikTok success to her actual career like that. And this is kind of concerning because if you're getting a song called Players song, all right, viral on TikTok, it's all over the radio. But when that same top 10 single is placed onto your most recent album, the album doesn't even sell over 10,000 units, okay? And that to me, I don't know. I'm just trying to really dive into how can somebody be so popular on social media but can't make any album sales? Now let's rewind back to her first album, okay? Her first album called Trendsetter. Trendsetter, it was not bad, but I feel like the song Blick Blick carried the album. Coi Leray's Trendsetter debuted with the spot of number 89. And it had 11.5 thousand album equivalent units earned in its first week. Basically, nobody was really talking about that album. But the sad thing about it is, in a complex article, Coi Leray, she argued that an album's success isn't strictly based on pure sales, as platforms like TikTok and YouTube can turn records into major hits. Now, I would have to argue differently, Coi Leray. When your Trendsetter album didn't perform well, I think she wanted to just find excuses as to why her album was not performing well. And honestly, Trendsetter, the sound was okay. I just feel like when she makes her albums, there's no generic, theme for her albums. It's just like she's making music that just sounds good. And that's not bad, but I think people will resonate with your albums more if you have a theme, a sound. For example, Beyonce's Renaissance album, perfect example of a theme. She goes with the house, ballroom, Vogue scene, and that's the theme throughout the entire album. She may switch it up a few, but it's not going to be a dramatic change in the album. Now, I feel like, honestly, if Coi Leray did have a theme for her eras of her album, I think it would do well. I feel like Trendsetter is better than her most recent album, Coi. We're going to get into that later. But I think that Trendsetter is not a bad album. I feel like she has some pretty good tracks on there that are deep and unique, but they're not cohesive at all. But unfortunately, she had big features like Nicki Minaj, Lil Durk, G Herbo, and Fabio Foreign on her first album project. So you would kind of think that maybe these big names can help her get her album to be where it needs to be at in terms of the Trendsetter album. No, it still flopped. It still didn't perform well. It just did not do well. And Coi Leray, she's a very versatile artist, like I just said. She's doing this, she's doing that. She doesn't have no creative direction. It's kind of hard to get a niche audience. It's kind of hard to get a niche of people who like you for you because you're not doing anything different, you're not doing anything unique to Coi Leray. Coi Leray is just doing whatever is sticking and whatever she can grasp and latch onto. So that is also another reason. Now, moving on to Coi Leray's second studio album called Coi. It has released and it has performed and it's not performing well. Coi debuted at number 102 on the Billboard 200 and the song got approximately 10,000 units in its opening week. All right. Now, Coi, this album was very messy. I do like the song Players. That is the only song that is bearable to listen on this album. So I would have to give Coi Leray credit for that. But everything else just messy. The samples. What is going on? It's too many samples going on with Coi Leray as well. But I mean, hey, sometimes samples can be good because people can resonate with the song in a way that they wouldn't have to the original because the new artist can put a spin on it. But Coi Leray is not putting a big spin on it. She's just doing whatever is working with that sample, which is not being creative and innovative at all. But like I just said, sometimes samples can be good. Sometimes samples can be reworked and redone to be a nice song. For example, I think Wild Side by Normani, she did a good job with sampling that song. She put her own spin on it. She also added different melodies and tunes to it. That was really good. Now, and I was also thinking to myself, when you are an artist and you're on TikTok, typically you're making music that everybody can listen to. And when everybody can listen to your music and it's going viral for the platform, that means you're not really building a fan base. Coi Leray has not cultivated her own fan base at all. And she hasn't made her own little corner in the industry. She just makes music and whatever sticks, like I always say. But if she had a fan base, maybe she'll have people buying her music. But if you don't have a fan base, nobody's interested in it. And when I say fan base, I don't mean just people who like you. I mean diehard fans who are buying, streaming overnight. I mean buying the physical copies. I mean everything, merch, everything. Coi Leray does not have that diehard fan base at all. She doesn't have that. And unfortunately, yes, streaming and radio is what's superior nowadays, which is why you need to have a fan base to be able to buy your music with their hard-earned money. And not many artists can say they have diehard fans. And that's what sets a lot of these artists apart nowadays, is not having a core fan base and just making music for everybody to listen to. Now, the features on Coi were David Guetta, Saucy Santana, and Lola Brooke. Okay, which in my opinion are kind of weak features. So I can also see how that didn't really, contribute to the sales. I'm not saying that the artists themselves are weak. I'm saying that the artists don't have any real power to boost the sales and performance of a song. Now, David Guetta, very iconic, but didn't really help with this album, unfortunately. But every single time an artist is failing or flopping, they always have to have something to blame it on. Always. And Coi Leray blamed her failure on this.
People are not buying albums. You feel me? And it's even weird because they have to ask you, like they ask an artist, like, do you want hard copies? And if you do, how much do you want? Like, to put money behind the hard copies sometimes just really doesn't even make sense these days, It's all about the streaming. But I feel like I'm still building. I haven't really been able... Also, because I'm so versatile and I'm cooking, I'm dancing, I'm singing, I'm on this, I'm on that, I'm on it. I feel like they lock me in a box.
Coi Leray then retweets this message that says Coi Leray's influence goes beyond 1,000 album sales. In 2022, she's amassed over 500 million streams in the US and captivated over 38.2 million monthly listeners on Spotify alone. Leray stands as the fourth most streamed female rapper. This shows that her music continuously attracts listeners beyond the first week. The new era of music's success isn't just about instant sales. It's about consistent engagement, social media impact, and continued streams. Now, I feel like this is all just an excuse to say that she's flopping and radio and TikTok is carrying. Because if you have over 38.2 million monthly listeners, okay, all you would need is just 1% of those people to buy the album. And you will have at least just 38,000 of people to buy your album. But you can't even get 1% of your 38.2 million monthly listeners to purchase your album. Okay? And honestly, she needs to fire her marketing team. She needs a new marketing team. She needs a new direction. And her team needs to just sit down and just analyze, hey, maybe we need to do this with her. Maybe we need to do this with her so she can be flourishing and thriving. Okay? Now, in my opinion, though, I think Coi Leray will be better off as doing modeling. She has a beautiful face. She's gorgeous. Personality is on 1,000. She can really light up the runway. And I think she should do that more often. But it really does suck to see an artist put their all into something and it not do well and flourish. But I mean, hey, honestly, you can't blame anybody else but Coi Leray and her team. But who knows? Maybe you did enjoy the Coi Leray album. Maybe you did enjoy the Coi Leray Trendsetter album. Who knows? Let me know your opinion in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video.